Yes,
Oi!
look at that. Steve, how are you, mate? It's good to be back, isn't it?
Mate, look at this. Another season, eh? Me and you. Still never met in real life. How many seasons are this now? Is this our third full season?
Yeah, I think so. I don't believe it when I hear you or me say that we've not met in real life. I can't comprehend.
I mean, at this point, I think we just could never meet.
Yeah, I know. I just feel like we've had a few beers. You know, I feel like that must have happened, but it hasn't.
Never happened, mate. No, like
outrageous.
It is insane, but we're back, and thanks to everyone that's jumping in. That's also coming back to CGA for another season. I'm very excited. I mean,
I've met half the chat, and I've not met you, by the way. Discomfort, Sammy. I saw a few names that I've met in person. Yeah. So, yeah, go on.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited. Like, obviously, we had a sense that the game was launching today, so we were waiting for today really over the last week. And I tried to give the nod to our elite chasers last week, saying, I think it'll be Monday, lads. I think it'll be Monday. Nice. And obviously, like, the news started to filter out last night, and here we are. We're going to break it all down, aren't we, Ju? These are pretty raw reactions, given the game only launched a few hours ago.
Mate, proper raw. Like, we're going to see our teams later, and, you know, that's, again, like, not much planning. But I guess for many of us, we hit today knowing some teams we might like in the back of our heads over the last 3, 4, 5 weeks, we've probably gone, I'm definitely going to have a bit of that defense, or I want to invest in that attack, or I'm interested in Florian Wirtz. What price would he come in at? So yeah, we're going to react to some of the big stories today. I really want to focus today's show on discussing the popular assets, the premiums, the ones everyone's looking at, the most popular in terms of ownership so far. We'll look at that. And I want to involve, as always, the chat. Good to see Cam is in the house as well. I think Cam said it launched earlier for him when he was out walking Daisy on their afternoon walk, and it was like, oh my God, I'm going to have a rubbish team ID now. But good to have Rodrev back in the house. So many familiar faces. You may have noticed we've had a bit of a rebrand. I just noticed, Dean, we need to change our welcome slides.
Oh yeah, the welcome was the same. We're having a whole rebrand, and we forgot about the main thing that opens the show.
I know. I remember saying to the producer, we need a new logo, we need a new cover photo on YouTube. We've done all that stuff. Completely forgot about the intro slides. So, yeah, but look, it looks good. Our logos, I think, looks great. Our thumbnails look great. So thank you, guys. Other than that, it's more of the same. We are going to do some pre-recorded videos as well. So whilst today focuses on the popular players, one of the videos we have out this week will focus on rules. That will probably be out in a couple of days. Tomorrow, we'll probably have a video out on hidden gems. Like, we want to hit you guys with some really nice short 10-minute content, as well as all the lives that engage you lot. So, yeah, delighted to be out. Mate, how has your summer been, first and foremost? And, yeah, let's talk a little bit about your summer and your day job and the Club World Cup just for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, obviously, transfer window has been lively. It's been a strong transfer window, so there's been plenty to try and keep up with. Ekitike and stuff like that still going on right now. That's, you know, he's going to be introduced to this game, obviously. So that's going to be interesting. Club World Cup, I didn't really have any interest in until it got to knockouts. And even then, you know, I was pretty selective in what I watched, but mainly watched the English teams for reasons attached to this. And yeah, it's been a long summer, mate, because the kids have been off school for 2 months already.
How long are the summer holidays in America then?
10 weeks.
Whoa. So
10
what
weeks.
Do you still have Easter and Christmas like 2-3 weeks as well, or?
It's not as long. No. They're usually about a week. So
right, okay.
So yeah,
they balances out. But wow,
10 weeks. So it's been long, and I've been desperate for this show to start back up, mate. So I'd get some. This is my me time, chatting to all of you lot, and yeah. So that they're off around a friend's house right now. So that's all good. You are back in familiar surroundings. Before we get started, you're back in England. You're not in Italy anymore. Are you fully prepared for a comeback season? Because I think you're going to win the whole thing.
Mate, if I don't have a comeback season, I think I might get like I'm just going to get
blacklisted,
silenced. Yeah, like I need a good year after. But what I found funny was people sort of observing rank where it's like, I don't know, he finished at 150k and he finished 500k. As far as I was aware, when I got to the point where I wasn't going to have a 100k season, I genuinely didn't care if I finished 101,000 or 501,000. It was still a bad season. So I played really fast and loose for the run-in, going, there is a chance if I play this way, I could get into the top 100k, even though it felt like a write-off.
Yeah.
But I finished at like 550k or whatever. It's my worst season ever by some distance, but it was still a bad season for those that didn't hit, or content creators that didn't hit the 100k, I think. So, which is a huge amount of them. So yeah, I've got to bounce back, ready to go again. Let us know your ranks last season in the chat. Come on, who's the highest ranker in the chat? I reckon we got a few in the top 10k in with us this evening. So fair play.
Yeah, I hope so. Let us know. The intro's done. Should we get stuck into this new game, mate? Let's go.
Yeah, where do we start? Do we start with forwards and work our way down, or do we start with goalkeepers and work our way up?
Let's start with forwards. It's way more fun.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought we got to. And you know what? For those watching on catch up, you'll notice this season we're going to try and keep real segments. So if you're watching on catch up and you're not interested in forwards, you can jump probably 5-10 minutes time to midfielders and so on. So we're going to keep our chat on forwards. Now, Dean, when you make a team, there are so many FPL nerds out there that care about team ID that when they make their team to register, they click auto select. So then they can go through the process of signing up really quick.
Okay.
That isn't me, and I don't even know my team ID off the top of my head. I'm not one of those into team ID. The vast majority of the chat are, and there's nothing wrong with that. My good friend Holly Shand really cares about it, and last season was 50th. But because of that, some players are auto-selected, right? Players like João Pedro made the auto-select 11, I think, for many. So this might be skewed a tad.
Okay. Yeah.
But the vast majority, the masses, don't pick auto-pick and care about ID, and therefore they do select. So this is a good sample size of the most transferred in so far. João Pedro, Isak, Bowen, Haarland, and Solanke. I want to talk about a name not on here to start off with.
Okay.
Ollie Watkins.
Okay.
Is he the forgotten man? Because Watkins came in at 9 million, Isak 10.5, Haarland 14. Watkins has outperformed Haarland in the last 2 seasons in FPL, and he's 5 million cheaper. He's in my game week 1 team.
Is he? Do you know what? I think there's something to consider with Watkins in that if he is 100% committed to Aston Villa at the start of the season and there's no transfer speculation around him, then I think he's a good pick. I'm not convinced that will definitely be the case. And, Man United have considered Ollie Watkins. I know most of the talk has been about Nicholas Jackson and there's talk about Sesko right now, but Ollie Watkins, they've genuinely put the feelers out on and they kind of fancy him. So let's see where his head is at for the start of the season. But at 9 million, I think he's a good pick for the start of the season because the fixtures for Aston Villa are so good. Newcastle home, not easy. But Brentford, Palace, Everton, Sunderland, Fulham, Burnley. What a run of games potentially that is for Aston Villa. And
Top of the ticker. For the attacking fixtures, they come out number 1.
Absolutely. And so Ollie Watkins, I think at this very early stage, literally where we're a few hours into people looking at their teams, I think people are probably sleeping on him. A lot of people haven't studied the fixtures yet. People are just picking players that they kind of liked.
That scored in the World Cup, Club World Cup.
And this is the thing, João Pedro's trendy.
And,
He's trendy right now, right?
Yeah.
He's had a big transfer. He's just scored some important goals to win the Club World Cup. And Chelsea have also got a decent start to the season. So João Pedro is, a good pick at £7.5 million. But Ollie Watkins could equally be a good one. Sammy says he likes Watkins, but just not explosive enough. Feel he ticks over well. What are you looking for in a 9 million forward? It's a tricky price point. That's probably the thing with Watkins. Because, you can go that little bit up and get to an Isak. You can go a million lower and get a Jarrod Bowen.
Yeah.
So Watkins has really got to have a very good return rate here at this price point for me.
Yeah, it's a really good point. Welcome, Lath. We've had our first premium chaser sign up this evening. That is awesome, guys. If you want to check out membership, click join below. Loads of perks to it. We're going to do members only videos every week now till obviously the start of the season.
I honestly think, mate, this is going to be our biggest season ever. I feel like we're turning up the level of profesh on this show because of the mix of lives and pre-records. I think that this is going to be good. So thank you very much for joining up.
Yeah, chapters, structure, new graphics.
CH is even already offering to do the chapters. Our
Oh,
producers should probably
CH.
jump on that because he probably not
Yeah.
easy to keep up with. So
No, do you know,
CH,
it's a long job that. CH, we'd love that.
yeah, CH would just do it while she goes along. It's
Yeah, CH, you could maybe message us on. Yeah, you
you
could
want to
DM
message
us.
us, we might take you up on that because that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Right, let's carry on with the chat. Let's carry on with
Yeah,
our
it was João
strikers.
Pedro. Look, we've done Watkins in the poll. Like, will he be in your game at one team? And as expected, like 82% no. And I get it. Like, he wasn't brilliant last year, whatever. I think he'll be in mine, by the way. Let's start at the top with João Pedro because I think the YouTube audience is different to the masses that are signing up. I can't see 50% of you saying, do you think João Pedro will be in your game at one team? So right here, right now, let's not even ask that question. Let's ask, is João Pedro in your first draft? You've all drafted today. Have you put João Pedro in? Yes or no? And let's see how it reacts. Dean, Nicholas Jackson suspended game week 1. João Pedro is going to start. Like, we all wondered, will it be Delap or Pedro? I think the Club World Cup has shown us that João Pedro will get the nod more often than not. They do have different profiles and depending on the opposition they're playing. But João Pedro has played his way in if he wasn't already. And as a number 9, day one of Chelsea TV, day one joining Chelsea, Chelsea TV did an interview with him and they said, what's your favourite position? Without hesitation, he said number 9. And I was like, whoa, I expected him to say 10, but obviously he's joined Chelsea where Palmer exists. And then they said, compare yourself to another striker in world football that's most similar to you. Without hesitation, he said Robert Lewandowski. And I was like, that is a big claim.
Blimey. He's been watching a lot of YouTube this summer.
So after I heard this, he literally, day one of training with Chelsea, he just signed. I was like, oh, maybe he is going to play number 9. And then obviously he came on for Delap in a quarterfinal, had a great cameo, started the semi, scored 2 wonder goals, started the final, was incredible. So yeah, he's starting the season for Chelsea, but he ain't going to be a 90-minute man, is he? He's going to get a lot of early subs. But does that matter at 7.5 million with good fixtures if he's scoring goals?
Not really. And I think that's the interesting thing about João Pedro coming in at this price point. And you've got to compare him to Delap. What's Delap coming at? 6.5?
Yeah, 6.5, yeah.
6.5. Now, it's going to get difficult as the season wears on because there'll be, as I did in a little Instagram short, Instagram reel, I think Enzo roulette is going to kick in across this season. Enzo Maresca wants 8 forwards to choose from across this season. Now, I don't think it'll be a case of like Pep roulette where it's game by game figuring out who's playing. I think there will be stages of the season or we'll figure out there are different types of opponents that those are chopped and changed at. So João Pedro is going to be a safe bet to get enough early minutes in this game that you can go ahead and pick him as a 7.5 million forward. It doesn't mean that I don't think Delap could also be a good pick because I think if Delap starts, if Delap is sub at 6.5, I think he'll still get the chances to make it happen. And we saw at Club World Cup, he was starting.
Yep.
One of the things that I know Chelsea are working on with Delap is that he's bringing people in. Like, he's a strong runner with the ball. He's aggressive. He's direct. They love all of that about Liam Delap. Mm-hmm. One of the key things about Chelsea's centre forward this season is going to be how he connects play as well. And that's something they feel has been missing. Maybe it's an element of Nicholas Jackson's game that wasn't good enough. Maybe he couldn't combine the two aspects well enough. Maybe he was neither here nor there on either. And so that's something to look out for. But yeah, at the moment, João Pedro, the most selected striker in the game, which is quite a feat. And it shows that the impact that he's made coming in.
And to be fair, I'm wrong. The chat are 50-50 on this. So this really is accurate so far. 52-48, like bang on almost. So yeah, João Pedro is going to be popular, but as Dean says, he is Player of the Month. And if you're not already familiar with me and Dean and you're watching for the first time, then yeah, welcome to the channel. Like, we're the familiar faces on the channel. There will be guests throughout the season, but Dean and I are the permanent fixtures. Dean is a journalist by trade, a transfer specialist by trade. So when we're talking FPL, often for these slight intricacies, Dean might throw to me. When we're talking football headlines or knowledge on a player that no one's ever heard about, we're probably chucking to Dean, right? So hopefully you like that balance, and hopefully you've seen enough already today if you are new around here, especially to all those that are watching on catch up, as so many will. please do hit that like and subscribe button. We got to 10K in game week 38 last year. We want that momentum to see us through to the next season. Isak, terrible fixtures, 10.5 million is fair because he's been that good. He does come with penalty appeal, unlike a João Pedro or a Solanke, we don't know. But Jared Bowen, he is now a striker. And the rule in FPL is if you play number 9, you're a forward. If you play wide attacker, Mo Salah, you're a midfielder. Marmoush got reclassified as a midfielder. Cunha got reclassified as a midfielder. Gakpo got reclassified as a midfielder. I think that was all fair because they're often not the number 9. About 50% of Bowen's minutes are as the number 9, but it is only 50%. I do feel like we might feel a little hard done by at times when we see him starting out on the wing. The benefit of being a midfielder for Bowen is obviously clean sheet point, extra point for a goal. It ticks up. Bonus, slightly better if you're a forward for him, probably, because you get more for a goal in the BPS, 24 versus 18. But yeah, how do you feel about Bowen? I feel 8 million is a lot to spend on a West Ham player.
My feeling on Bowen is that I think he'll be underestimated again in terms of what he can actually bring to your team. Now, 8 million is a little tricky again because it's, Solanke at 7.5 and Bowen being at 8. Like, I would, see why people would go for Solanke there. But as it stands, Bowen is going to be the main goal getter in that West Ham team. West Ham cannot surely be as bad as they were last season. And Jared Bowen got 193 points last season in that terrible West Ham team. He got really good returns. And not many people were backing Jared Bowen across that season. So it does make a difference, him making that leap from midfield to forward. But I can see why they would do it, because Jared Bowen is going to get the majority of their goals. Yeah. At this stage, they haven't signed a striker at this point. They are going to sign one, but Jared Bowen for me would still be the only West Ham player at the moment that I'm truly interested in. And so, with the fixtures as well, who have they got on the first day? I know it's a decent fixture. Got him on my team. I should know this off the top of my head. But it's, to me, a decent pick. Yeah, Sunderland away for Jared Bowen on the first day.
I'll lose that.
He'll score that. I don't care if they lose. He'll score against Sunderland.
That's the thing. Like, I see West Ham and go, it's a lot of money, but every time they score, you feel like when you see that flash up on your phone, you're getting the goal or the assist. He really is the definition of talisman, like, for his team. And not every team has a clear talisman. So, no, fair point. I mean, look, we can't move on from forwards until we've touched on the other two. Solanke's going to be popular because Thomas Frank forwards get big chances. Big chance Brentford will be big chance Spurs. And again, Solanke's in my game week 1 team. Haarland isn't, and I was shocked, Dean, at 14 million. I feel like, and look, whoever's doing chapters, this is now the discussion of Haarland and Salah discussion, because we're going to move to midfielders and Salah next. Yeah, so the next 10 minutes is Haarland and Salah.
Yeah.
Haarland at 14 for Salah at 15 might be okay. Haarland at 14 for Salah at 14.5. It didn't give us a big enough headache. It didn't give us a big enough question. We needed 1 million between the two or more. I wanted Haarland at 13.5 and I wanted Salah at 15. I wanted 1.5 million between them to give us a headache. I don't feel like we've got that now. I don't think Haarland has done enough. Last season, I don't think we've seen enough even from Man City to justify the price tag of 14 million. Salah's done enough. He's broke all sorts of records. If he continues even at 90% of what we got last year, he's still going to have an unbelievable season and be the best point scorer in the game. We'll do a poll, guys. Are you team Haarland or Salah or both or neither? We'll do 4 options. I think the vast majority, I think he'll be 60%, 70% owned Salah. Haarland will be like 20% owned. I think that did the pricing, and I think the pricing has been brilliant in FPL this season, but I do feel that Haarland is one clanger they've had.
The thing is, right, last season he started 29 Premier League games. He got 27 Premier League goals and he got 6 assists. And that was a poor season, right? Man City are likely to be different this year. I can't see him having a bad season. And if 27 goals is a bad season and he increases on that, then we're looking at Haarland getting at least 35 goals this season. In which case, I can't overlook him. Last season, I was like, I'm going Haarland and Salah. And this season, I'm going Haarland and Salah.
It worked for you. Those that went both last year smashed it. I'm just going to pick you up, Dean. Just check that. I think there's 22 league goals last year, Haarland, not 27. But maybe that was all competitions or all domestic.
Oh,
but
sorry. No, I was looking
still...
at. Sorry, I was looking at the season before. Yeah, I was looking at.
Yeah, and the season before, he justified that 13.5 price tag.
Sorry. Yeah, you're right.
22 is still great. Like but it's worth noting. Chris Wood got more points than him.
Starts,
Chris Wood got more points than him. Ollie Watkins got more points than him. Isak got more points than him. Like I think Visser got more points maybe than Haarland, or around the same. Like Haarland, and yeah, he missed some games, sure. He's going to be great and he's going to get you loads of goals and he's a good captaincy option. My problem is the price. If you have Haarland and Salah, you're then kissing goodbye to some very good midfielders. Cole Palmer, Florian Wirtz. You're kissing bye maybe to an extra premium defender. But I get it. And look, we'll talk more about rules in a video we record this week. But with the double chip in place, we're going to need a triple captain for the first half of the season. Guess who plays the newly promoted teams all at home before Christmas? Erling Haarland. So, I get it.
Yeah, interesting. Thanks for correcting me, by the way. I was totally reading the wrong page of the stuff.
I wanted to before the chat did, because I knew the chat would be on it. I knew there'd be someone in the chat that's
no, I'm glad. But still, nevertheless, like in a poor season, like, for Haarland to get, he's going to get 30 goals this season. And so you've got to find a way to think, right, what does 30 goals represent across this upcoming campaign? How many times are you going to get bonus points in all three of them? How many hat tricks will there be along the way? And if you're missing out on the Haarland hat tricks, then it's a dangerous time.
Yeah.
And obviously they're not always easy to identify, but like you say, with the fixtures that they've got and nailing some of those, Burnley at home, for example, is game week 6. And in that little spell, they play Burnley home, Brentford away, Everton home. Haarland could really be on a tear up across a streak of games like that. So I'm just going to jump on him. Like, they begin with Wolves away, Manchester City. They've got to start well. I'm not 100% convinced that they've fixed everything in this transfer window yet. I'm not convinced that Pep isn't going to overthink things and have a breakdown, meltdown on the sidelines when things aren't going well and ends up spending another 100 million in January. But the team is different, and they've got a couple of new options, obviously, in the attack. And I do believe that Haarland starts this season strongly. So I'm going personally Salah and Haarland. But I have to admit, just before we were recording, I have looked at some no Salah, no Haarland drafts, and there are actually some decent ones about.
Oh, yeah.
I can't deny. Like, if you don't spend the 28.5 million on those two, then you can get
everyone else.
Unbelievable team.
Everyone else.
Literally
everyone else that's good. That's like 8 million or above. Okay,
yeah, you can get like Saka, Palmer, Wirtz, Eze, Isak, Watkins. Yeah, you get all of them.
Yeah, the Liverpool and the City and the Arsenal defenders, you can have them all. Like, they're all in at 6. All right, let's talk Salah then. Is Salah top of the midfield list? I didn't actually look at the list when I sent it on. I'm guessing Salah's the most popular transferred in midfielder so far. We'll flash it up on screen now.
Yeah, get it up on the screen, and then we'll start to assess where we're at. But
our poll, by the way, is 60% Salah. It's literally what I thought it would be. I said 60% Salah, 20% Haarland, and it's 18% Haarland, 58 Salah. Both are 9. Neither, the draft you just linked to, is 15%, and that means they can have all the others. Yeah, Salah at the moment is selected by 44% of the game, closely followed by Palmer. And again, that is recency bias. The Club World Cup did a lot of good things for Palmer. We'll talk about him in a second, but I feel like his price was probably 10 million, and then they watched the Club World Cup and boosted him. But
yeah, maybe.
But Salah broke all sorts of records last year. I don't even think we need to discuss Salah for long. Should we do do we think his output could drop a bit because there's other good output monsters in the team? Like Florian Wirtz and Ekitike are going to eat up more big chances than those that played in those two positions last year.
Wow.
Does that take away from Mo?
Well, you could flip that and say they're going to create more chances, because I was speaking to somebody, I did a little tweet earlier about Ekitike, and they love how versatile this guy is, and they believe he'll score enough goals that he's worth this amount of money in his first season. But more than that, they think he's going to create different types of chances for Salah as well. Yep. Now, I watched highlights of Liverpool against Stoke.
Oh, yeah. 5-0, was it?
5-0, right?
Wirtz played 45, didn't he?
Wirtz was unbelievable.
Yeah, right? I saw a couple of clips too. It's great.
How quick this guy plays is just... Like, I know we can't read too much into the first pre-season. It's against Stoke in a training match. But, like, he was so evidently head and shoulders above everybody else. It was just unbelievable how he was seeing things. And he was playing quite central. What I noticed too was that Salah was drifting really coming in. And this season, with the fact that Liverpool have the new fullbacks and they're expected to get down those flanks, maybe we are going to see Salah playing tighter. Maybe we're going to get Ekitike through the middle, Salah playing closer to him on the right, and Wirtz, in those pockets in behind, trying to find him. So,
and then Frimpong overlapping, because Salah can't hug the touchline when you got Frimpong behind you.
Absolutely. Is Wirtz a good FPL pick? I don't know yet, because I don't know what his output's going to be. I think he'll be unbelievable, and I think he'll create loads of stuff. I don't know how many goals he's going to score. And I don't know if he gets the assist or if he's the assist before the assist, because he'll do a lot of those passes whereby he drifts in and then he spots the pass and then that pass comes back across and then they score.
Sure, yeah.
And that obviously doesn't really get rewarded in this game.
Kevin De Bruyne role.
There's the danger of that. At 8.5, obviously, there's a temptation to go there.
I think they went too low here. Haarland was one clanger, too high, and Wirtz was the other for me. They're the two that stand out.
Yeah, I don't see that Palmer can be 2 million more.
It's penalties, but that's not worth 2 mil.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a mil.
Just pens. That's I've got maybe we'll show it on the next live, but I did a comparison between the two from all the metrics. Those radar diagrams. And it was him at Leverkusen and Palmer at Chelsea, different leagues, but that's so similar in terms of their stats. Wirtz edges it in terms, other than the pens and the slightly more goals for Palmer because of pens. I think Wirtz scored 2 last season. Wirtz edges it, a lot of it, the progressive carries, opposition box touches, blah, blah, blah. They're so similar. I expected the pens to outweigh by an extra million, maybe. So I thought Wirtz might come in at 9.5.
Yeah, I thought 9.5 too. 8.5 definitely surprised me.
He's in my team now because of that price. It's just a value pick. I didn't think I'd be able to afford Salah and Wirtz. We speak about Salah and Haarland being a big enough price apart to tempt you to one or the other. I thought with Salah and Wirtz, I was like, if you make them 5-6 million apart, which they have, 6, what is that, 6? It's going to mean that you don't have to have Salah. But because they've come in cheaper than I expected, even though the gap is that big, you can have both. And they are the best attack in the league. Do you expect Liverpool, they're favourites to win the league? They'll be favourites to score the most goals. They're going to score bundles, and it's a proper front four.
Yeah, I think they're going to be awesome. I do wonder how the first couple of games go in terms of managing the emotions because of everything that's going to be happening around Jota. But, that's a different story. In terms of how the way this team are actually going to be built to play, I completely trust what they're doing. And, yeah, I just think that they'll blow people away in the early weeks as they try to put up their marker for defending their title. It's interesting, obviously, have to keep bringing Man City into the equation because I do believe that they'll come close. And Cherki coming in at 6.5 is interesting. That's pretty low. And I think people want to see more of him first to see what kind of role he's playing in this team.
And minutes.
Yeah, he's not going to be in many first draft. 10% at the moment, Cherki. But keep an eye on it for sure. Let's just get to this super chat before it drifts off the page from Casey. Thank you very much, mate. We appreciate it. Do you think Ekitike will be the same price as Isak?
God, no. Penalties matters with pricing. Wirtz is a prime example of that. They've brought in an output monster in Wirtz, and because he's not on pens and he's not the talisman in that team, he's 8.5. Ekitike will be the same. I put money on the fact he comes in at 8.5 or 0.5 either of it. Like, he's not going to be more than 9. Like, he can't be because he doesn't have the routes to points that the other forwards do. Like, Ollie Watkins is 9 million. He's not on pens, but he's very good. He's outscored Haarland the last 2 years. Ekitike can't be more than that. So, no, he's certainly not going to be Isak money.
No, I mean, if Wirtz is coming in at 8.5,
same.
But what Wirtz is way better. Like, at the moment,
he's not playing up front.
In terms of proven, in terms of what you're expecting, Wirtz is way better. But obviously Ekitike is going to come in as a forward, so that needs to be counted in. Callum says 9, and I think I'm probably there with him. I think it's going to be 8.5 or 9.
Yeah, you'll be 8.5 either side of, I guarantee it. But yeah, it's an interesting one. Let's see. The man whose name you can spell either way, and backwards it's the same spelling. I find that quite funny.
So
Cole Palmer, we just touch on. He is already an FPL community pick. The analytics guys love Palmer because of those routes to points. I don't have him in my first draft. I have Enzo instead. Enzo's not going to get anywhere near as many points as Palmer, but he's 5 million cheaper, playing as a number 10. Club World Cup showed us Maresca wants to play Palmer often on the right-hand side, inverting, and he wants to play Enzo with 2 behind him. So ideally it's Lavia and Caicedo, but it could be Caicedo and Reece James as it was in the Club World Cup final. Enzo gets in good positions. He takes some of the set pieces. He'll pick up recovery points, unlike Palmer. He's a good pick. I don't know if he's the best 6.5 million pick, but he's a good pick. Palmer feels, I wonder if he's 0.5 too expensive. He's clearly brilliant, but his open play goals haven't been great in the last 6 months.
No, but then you watch the Club World Cup. And
I know, but they don't. PSG, they leave you so much space. Like, honestly, for Chelsea, it was better for Palmer to play against PSG and Nuno Mendes than it will be against half the Premier League teams who sit deep.
Yeah, I mean, that you've probably got a point there. But, he starts the season with 4 London derbies, Cole Palmer. Crystal Palace home, West Ham away, Fulham home, Brentford away. Expecting returns across that lot for sure. I mean, they don't have a properly difficult game until game week 7 when they play Liverpool. So I can see why he would have a high selection point, even if he hadn't achieved what he did at the Club World Cup. It'll be interesting. I mean, I always stuck by Palmer last season thinking, this guy, he's not going to go through a drought. There's no way he's going to go through a drought. And then, what did he get? 1 goal from 20th of January onwards or something like that.
Yeah.
Like a 10, 11, 12 game streak without a goal. And I was shocked. But you see the way that he, reacts to the Club World Cup. He's a funny lad, isn't he? I mean, the way he talks and the way he handles himself is very unique. And I kind of back him to bounce back. He's not in my draft either at the moment, but at the moment I've really overlooked Chelsea, and I need to consider who are my top 3 Chelsea assets. Probably one for another show, but.
Yeah, we could do a whole show on Chelsea. You're right, mate. He's just broken up with his girlfriend, who apparently proposed to him. I read this just before we came on. He's been with her a year. She's been trying to get marriage for a while, and apparently, and he said no. So they've broken up, and they've unfollowed each other on social.
Wow,
drama from Cole Palmer.
It does seem like she's proposing to him after a year. At that age. Unnecessary. She's obviously
gone too early.
She's gone too early there.
She's on Wayne Rooney and peaked too soon. In so many ways. Rodgers is popular. He was a darling in the community last year, but he started the season at 5-ish million. 7, he's had a big price boost, but he is brilliant, and he's a 90-minute man. He'll get recoveries. If you can't get to Watkins, he covers you for the Villa attack. I like that pick at 7. And then Kudos 6.5. There's some good 6.5 picks this year. Ismail Assar is 6.5. Semenyo, I think, is 7. So that's 6.5, 7 bracket. Enzo 6.5. There's some really good options in that price band, which I like. And Dyer Everton, again, another one in my first draft. And Dyer Everton's gone from forward to midfielder. It'll take pens. Everton have got goodish fixtures. He plays front three, 6.5 million. I like him. But Kudos, you didn't get output from him at West Ham, goals and assists, but maybe this is his club. And we know what Spurs will do under Frank. They'll work big chances, and he's obviously a talented player. How do you see Kudos in that Spurs attack? Because if I'm going Spurs attack, I'm going Solanke. But do you like Son or Kudos?
I don't like Son because I don't think he'll be a Tottenham player by the time the transfer window closes. To be completely honest, yeah, we'll see. I mean, they're going on pre-season tour, and it might end up being a farewell tour for Son. They're heading out to Asia, and he's got no guarantees over his future. I get the sense that Tottenham are very keen for a Saudi Arabian club to come in and take him for whatever they can get at this point with 1 year left, and that they're already trying to build beyond Son. Look, if they can't find a move, 100% they'll keep him. Like he's a club legend, and they wouldn't force him out of the club by any stretch. But they would definitely welcome offers because they've had his best years, and this is their last chance to make any money back on him. Yeah. I think Kudos is a really good signing. I think he's got a point to prove. I don't believe the story that he only wanted Spurs. Like that's not true. And I know he came out and he did a video and stuff, but he basically told Chelsea he wanted to join them. Like he would have done that. He would have done that. Just couldn't find an agreement. Yeah. So, but I do think this is a good signing for Tottenham. West Ham fans hate him already. On the back.
It's a bad move. That's a big rivalry. If those that internationally perhaps don't recognise that, that's a big move to make.
No one's made that switch between West Ham and Tottenham since Scott Parker a way back. Wow. So yeah, it doesn't happen very often. But yeah, Sammy says Kudos is mustard. He's so good.
Yeah,
Kudos is so good, and I really trust that Thomas Frank will find the way to get the best out of him.
Turn him into from Burmo.
Yeah, I mean,
on
exactly.
The right flank,
Interesting to see how he balances this attack. Obviously, like Brennan Johnson and players like that to take into the equation too. But at 6.5 million, when I spotted that, my eyes kind of lit up. I was like, that is very, very good value for me. I don't know if it's because of how he was last year, but I think last year doesn't really matter. You can write off the Kudos from last year because it's irrelevant now that he's made the switch to Tottenham.
Yeah, West Ham are so limited in their attack as well. Like you feel for those attacks. It shows how good Bowen is. Okay, probably enough on midfielders. We got British 87 said he bought Kudos, was a Kudos. Sammy likes, a lot of you like Kudos. And Burmo we won't discuss on this show, but I think Man United have got dreadful fixtures. I think we don't quite know how they're going to shape up. I think we can swerve Man United. Cunha and Burmo for game week 1. It is worth noting. We'll move on to defenders now. All the United defenders are pretty much 4.5 million. You get Dorgu for 4.5 million. You get Maguire at 4.5. Like that's potentially some value there. Like on their day, they can keep clean sheets. But the popular picks, as expected, come from Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea. The top 4 there, it's the standout defender in FPL for those 4 big teams that we associate with clean sheets and good defenses, and of course their premiums. Guys, we would love you to hit those buttons. Sammy reminding us there in the chat and off-core as well. 310 watching, brilliant to see. Hit the like too. We would love you guys. It just helps the algorithm if you do hit the buttons. Defense is an interesting one. No defender, Dean, is more than 6 million this year. Yeah. I think that's right. I like that. I don't think there was any last year that there's no Trent, there's no Cancelo, there's no Marcus Alonso anymore. There hasn't been defenders putting up big attacking numbers for a year or two. Yeah. So these guys all on screen are great, but with the defensive actions points now on offer, and we'll talk about rules in a show this week. Set your alerts for chasing green arrows because pre-recorded content coming your way. The centre-back's going to benefit. Like, Nori and Frimpong and Cucurella and Kerkez, 4 of the top 5 here, aren't really going to benefit from that much, but Gabriel will. And I think this is a perfect snapshot, and we all need to do it, probably not adjusting to the new rules. Those 2 points on offer are big. Tarkowski has gone up to 5.5 million because he's so good at the defensive contributions. We may have seen Tarkowski at 4.5 or 5 otherwise. So just worth noting that the centre-backs will win out here.
Yeah, that's true. And I think in these first drafts, that will have been overlooked by most people because we haven't had time to adjust our thinking to that. I know that in my draft, like
Mine too.
defense did not get much priority. It was like, what budget is left? I think I got Van Heck in, just thinking, oh, he might be good for that new data. But yeah, so obviously people still going to automatically look at fullbacks, wingbacks, and go for those attacking styles. And there'll still be good picks. There's no doubt about it. But there'll also be some, Murillo's, for example, the Murillo of this season. I don't think Murillo is necessarily the guy anymore. How much did he go in at, Murillo? 5.5?
Yeah, Milenkovic as well. I think he was similar.
See, that doesn't bring the same appeal to me anymore, because that was all last season, and I can't.
And they overachieved Forest, didn't they?
Yeah, and I'm not sure what they're going to be like this season. But finding the next version of those types of players is what we're going to be looking for. So this is where preseason does become interesting, because there will be some trendy players. Van de Ven at 4.5 is an interesting one, Tim. I agree with that. I was surprised that.
Well, was he 4.5? I've gone a Dogie at 4.5, but I didn't realise
Van de Ven are both 4.5. Yeah.
Wow. I think I probably prefer Van de Ven to a Dogie then, because of the 2 pointers, but also the 90-minute guarantee when fit.
Yeah, that is true.
I just feel like with Spurs fullbacks, I think Udogie's going to be starting, don't get me wrong, and Pedro Porro should be too, but I don't know. I feel like Jed Spence is such a good option, either left or right, he'll get minutes.
Yeah, I mean, look, Tottenham are being linked very heavily with Zibanejad at the moment from Bournemouth. I mean, PSG in that mix as well, but Tottenham seemingly are very serious about it. Which would it be? Would it be Van de Ven? I don't know. What
is it a back three though? They're going to move to that by maybe
possibly, but
Frank did play a 50% at the time.
Well, what I've been hearing is that they want somebody who can play left-sided centre back and also can play left back. So, like, just to give them an option there. So, I don't know if that's what they see as Zibanejad. Sammy says, "Will Zibanejad definitely go?" I think he probably will, if I'm honest. Yeah, I think he probably will leave in this transfer window. But not necessarily to Tottenham, because PSG do want him too. But Tottenham starting to make moves. So again, that's one to come out in the wash and see where we're at. But if Van de Ven's a starting centre back at 4.5 mil, then at this moment in time, he's being overlooked.
Let's do a poll on the Liverpool fullbacks. Let's just chuck Van Dijk in. Which Liverpool defender is most likely going to make your Game Week 1 team? Van Dijk, Frimpong, Kerkez. Mate, Frimpong's attacking numbers across Europe in the last 2 seasons. He's top for touches in the opposition box on all defenders. I think he's top for goals of all defenders. Like, he is a flyer. And actually watching that game versus Preston, the highlights, you would have seen the same things I saw, where Frimpong's just like so keen to attack and get cutbacks, pullbacks, and he'll get assists. Many will say, what about Conor Bradley? Look, Conor Bradley had his chance at the end of last season. He didn't quite put his hand up, and I think Liverpool are always going to go and buy someone to be the number one. Robertson and Tsimikas still exist for Kerkez. So if you're going to question Frimpong for rotation risk, question Kerkez. Slot doesn't rotate much, though. When he's got his back four, and these two will be in it, he won't rotate much. League Cup games, FA Cup games, whatever. Frimpong and Kerkez are both going to be playing a lot of 90 minutes, I think. But is it Van Dijk that actually gets more points because he's going to pick up loads of 2-pointers from the defensive contributions, and he'll still get goals at attacking set pieces? Or will we see enough in attack from Frimpong and Kerkez to justify their decision? I mean, Frimpong over Kerkez for me, just for output.
Yeah. At the moment, the vote's saying Kerkez is the bottom of the three. Frimpong just has the edge. But yeah, that we'll see how that starts to level out. Yeah, Kerkez seemingly going to be way behind though, which I think is an oversight for sure. I'm not sure I would have Kerkez bottom of those three. But again, it's one of those things that we'll start to see once we see the Community Shield and all those sorts of things too. Where people will start to change their mind. But Frimpong's so exciting, and he's going to be likable as well. You know, I think that even people that try not to like Liverpool will find Frimpong hard not to like, both on and off the pitch. You know, it just his personality on the ball, his personality in interviews, like he's got a bit about him. And so,
when you look at Man City academy players that have left in the last 5 years, it's ridiculous, isn't it? I didn't realise he was former City.
Yeah. They looked at getting him at one point back as well, which kind of surprised they didn't do. Man City themselves, by the way, will end up signing another defender probably.
Will it be a right back, or is Mateus Nunes going to be first choice? Because I've put him in my Game Week 1 draft because I loved what I saw from Nunes second half of last season, and he's cheaper than Nori, 5.5, and effectively you're getting the same output there.
Yeah, it's interesting that he's been switched to a defender in the game.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced that by the time the season starts that Man City haven't signed another right back though. They've definitely been looking across the board at options for this, and given that, I find it hard they've put as much work into scouting on a right back without the intent to go there.
And it's going to be a number one, a 50 million right back that's going to come in and start football matches.
It might be.
Although in Man City, when you spend 50 million, it doesn't guarantee you're going to get starts. Nico Rodriguez is a prime example of that. But yeah, okay, nice to know that. Nori's pretty nailed for the left-hand side, I'd say. Gvardiol, I thought would be higher in this list, not going to lie. I think a lot of the chat will own Gvardiol. Yeah. He's going to play left centre-back a lot more. But yeah, Club World Cup, we saw Nori starting all the games and pretty much Mateus Nunes too. Left back, right back, flying forward. Lots of attacking returns for those two. Cucurella is more expensive by $1 million than Colwill. I don't know if that's worth the extra money. I've gone Colwill because it's an extra $1 million saved. Yeah, you won't get the same attacking returns, but you will benefit from some of those defensive contribution points. So that's where I guess I'm at with defenders. Mate, should we move on? Oh, just worth noting, Everton, Jake O'Brien, 5 million. Love that.
Jake O'Brien at 5, yeah.
Tarkowski and Branthwaite at 5.5. Mikolenko and O'Brien at 5. They're all starting.
Yeah, that's interesting, and that's where you can make your little your little profits. So that will be it. I mean, defensively, there's a lot of options to kind of pad out your team this season. I have been pleased to see that I've been able to fill out my defense. I think the most expensive player I got is 5. Yeah, that might change by the time we get it, but at the moment, I could get the attacking players I wanted, and then still get pretty good defenders for between 4.5 and 5. So yeah, that was good to see. Should we move on to goalkeepers?
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, where was your instinct? Because when I saw Pickford price reveal at 5.5 million, I just thought, oh, does this mean Reya and Alisson are going to be 5.5 more? But Pickford's the best scoring goalkeeper in the league last 2 seasons. It's only right that's the top price point. And if Reya's going to be 5.5, that's where I'm going. Arsenal are the best defense in the league. It's a very easy set and forget. Yeah, you could go with rotating 4.5s, and with bench boost needing to be active in the first half of the season, maybe having a dead spot on the bench isn't a good idea. That's what I've currently got, but I think Reya is the standout here.
Yeah, I mean, Reya last season was 5.5, wasn't he? Came in with 150 points, and Pickford was a £5 million goalkeeper and got 8 points more than him, so he had to go in at the same price point. Yeah. You would expect Everton to be better this season as well, which maybe means he hasn't got as many shots to save. Perhaps we'll wait and see, but also gives him a better chance of keeping clean sheets if they do end up being better built under David Moyes from the start of the season. What did Sells come in at? 5? Yeah, 5. So Sells is obviously like somebody that everybody saw perform so well and overperform really.
Yeah.
Again, Forest might have been a one-off, and we're all going to have to treat that situation carefully with Forest. Not sure what a Nottingham Forest is going to be next season. And so Pickford, yes, the safest bet, but a 5.5 puts me off. And that's why Kelleher's coming in so high. Get Kelleher at $1 million less, playing for Brentford. He's going to be the number 1 goalkeeper. He's going to play every single game. We know he's good.
He's going to get save points.
Yeah, we just don't know yet what Brentford are all about. So
do we expect them to be the same, Dean? Because they've employed within. It's part of the coaching staff. Will he be have they gone for a profile that they think will be very similar to Thomas Frank that suits the squad?
It's impossible, no. It's impossible that Keith Andrews can do what Thomas Frank did. He has to be his own man. And he's managing the Premier League for the first time, This is a huge, huge job for him to undertake. I used to know Keith Andrews. Like, he's a really, really top bloke, and he's very, very careful thinker when it comes to football. Also got a big personality, but he's been desperate for an opportunity like this. And you know, loads of people would have seen his own personality through all the stuff he's done for Sky. You know, when he's been doing all the EFL stuff. And
I guess you interviewed him a lot, did you? When he was always a captain, wasn't he? Like probably quite always a spokesperson for the club he was playing at.
Yeah, so I knew him more when he was back at MK Dons. Had a few nights out with him and stuff.
Oh, nice! Come on, spill the beans.
There's nothing to say. Just a top bloke. Likes a Guinness.
Did you go to Oceana in Milton Keynes at the Snow Dome?
We may have been to Oceana in Milton Keynes.
I had my 21st birthday in there.
Oh, blimey, did you? Yeah, maybe Oceana and down in Kingston as well. I think we might have found ourselves in. But
mate, who was Paul Ince was the manager, right, of MK Dons, and I was in Oceana, and Paul Ince walked in, and my mate, this is going back 15 years, my mate went, "Oh look, it's Andy Cole." He's not a football fan. I was like, mate, that's not Andy. That is another 90s legend.
Yeah.
Paul Ince is the manager of MK Dons. I'm pretty sure it's him in Milton Keynes.
Yeah, I think that makes more sense, doesn't it? And Paul Ince going for a night out doesn't totally surprise me either.
Correct.
But yeah, Keith Andrews, like very, very bright football brain, no doubt about it. So much more comes into it at this level. And losing Norgard, losing Mbermo, maybe losing Visser, Thomas Frank gone. Like, this team's kind of been blown up. And that's what's really difficult to understand right now. But yeah, Kelleher, 22% owned surprises me, to be honest. I thought it would be like 40% owned.
Yeah. Okay, nice. Look, we'll talk more about position by position as we move through, but we've got to show your team, Dean. We've only got a couple of minutes to look. We'll do a standalone video with our teams.
Yeah.
Dean, just to flash up your first initial reaction to scout into picking a team. Where did you land, and where's your distribution of funds and your premium coverage?
Yeah, so I picked this without looking at any other drafts. So it was kind of my first reaction pick. Like, I saw that the game had gone live and just went straight into the app when it eventually loaded and started to piece it together. So straight away I put Salah and Haarland in. Like, I was like, it didn't even matter to me really at this point. Like, it's a first draft and I just wanted to see how I would build around those. And it hasn't come out too bad. I mean, definitely the least thought has gone into the defensive options here. So those are kind of placeholders at those price points, really. I think a doggy would probably stay just because I think that's really good value.
Yeah.
Gusto, I just put in I didn't have a Chelsea player, so I just picked a Chelsea player.
Tuanzebe's 4 million. I didn't see that. I wondered who the 4 million standout might be this year, and it could be him.
Yeah, it might be him. Gahey, 4.5. If he's at Palace, it's a good pick. If he gets a move to Newcastle or something, or Chelsea or whatever, Chelsea are going back in for Mark Gahey. So if Mark Gahey joins Chelsea as a £4.5 million asset,
wow,
all over it. They're trying to talk over that this week. So that's
what is he going to play next to Colwill? They both like to play on the left, don't they? I think.
Yeah, I mean, might be by Colwill. I'm not sure. But yeah. Let's keep an eye on that, but that's why he's in there for now. Njai kind of just caught my eye as I was going through the final options, and I was like,
mate, he's in my team.
I quite fancy him. Yeah,
I was hoping we get 6.5. I knew he was a midfielder, and I was like, is he going to be 7? Could he even be 7.5? I think 6.5. Knowing he's on pens, 90-minute man, the best player.
Their best player, and the spark. So I think that he'll be good. I'm going to do a separate video where I talk about Declan Rice and Igor Jesus. So keep your eyes out for that the next day or so. And yeah, Kudos at the moment just has that edge at 6.5 for me.
Yeah,
I want someone like him. Someone who's going to contribute to all assets of their attacking play, whether it's assists or goals. And I just feel like Kudos is going to be so motivated to kind of, rise with Tottenham, but also sink West Ham and make sure that he rams all that back down their throat because they're so down on him. And yeah, that's pretty much where I landed.
We should rate some of the Chasers drafts next week. maybe that's a pre-recorded video. But what we'll do, Chase, is if you don't already follow Chasing Green Arrows on X, on Twitter, give us a follow and we will tweet something like we're looking for some team reveals from our chasers, and so we can judge them, and we'll just ask you to pop a screen grab onto the post on Twitter. If you're a member, we'll message you in the WhatsApp. But yeah, we'll definitely do that. British 87 says not on Twitter. Well, sorry, we'll do it on Instagram as well.
That's not our fault.
Yeah. What do you want us to do? But yeah, we'll do it on both Insta and Twitter. And maybe next week, one of our vids will be rating your drafts. And I'm keen to see how many, like Dean, go with those two premium approach of Salah and Haarland. But look, we will have another video out tomorrow. We're striking when the iron's hot, guys. So hit notifications and you'll know when we are live. But also we will know when we've got pre-recorded content. Now, you may have gone, why haven't I seen Gianni's team? Well, it's been a bit, we've run out of time. So what I've done, I have posted my team. I've done a 20-minute video on my channel. If you want to go watch that now and see my team, that video will be live in 1 minute. As soon as I say goodbye, that video will be live. So go find that. If you are just tuning in, though, you want to see more from our chat just now, go back and watch the last hour. Dean, any closing thoughts from you?
Yeah, I mean, normally, obviously, we take questions at this point, but today was really just a reaction video, and we will definitely on our next live be taking more questions from you guys and also more hot takes from you guys and who you think is like being ignored, who's underestimated, and who maybe is being overhyped as well. So on the next show, which live probably will be on Friday, I imagine we'll have another live. Come back and we will do more assessments of our initial reactions, I guess. So let's aim to do that. And yeah, in the meantime, I'm probably going to be glued to this app, to be honest. Now that it's back, it's been a nice break, but I am getting ready for the new season now, and I'm excited. There's some nice new names in here for us to consider, and playing around with the team and your transfers over the next week is fun because it's painless because you can't go wrong at the moment. You know, we've still got the few weeks to go until the season actually starts. So enjoy tinkering with your teams and see the best ones you can come up with. Salah, no Salah, Haarland, no Haarland. Get them both in there and see what it comes out like.
Yeah, well said. On that bombshell, we'll see you later, guys. Bye-bye.